Can you hear me? We have received many questions, and some of the questions I think enjoy quite a lot of popular vote. Probably I will start with the question that most people want to know, and I think we can have everyone who like to comment on it. We can just put out your hand and comment on it. If not, then probably I have to see how to assign one of the panelists to at least to respond to the question. I think now here there's one question that a lot of people want to know is that given Japan's current democratic problem, that means your population is declining, how likely is that Japan will turn to immigration to help reverse the population decline? And if this is not an option, is there any other solution? I think anyone want to comment on this? I think this is quite a very fundamental, major question. Anyone want to respond to that? Machida-san?
Yes, it's quite a difficult question. So actually, I'm just a banker, but so I think so. Still, Japan historically perspective. So still, the Japanese employment rate is relatively high to compare with the Japanese history. So and then so if we have some, there is also argument in Japan whether we should invite a lot of the foreign workers to the Japanese economy. So and actually, so the DPJ government decided to increase the number of some highly talented people, especially in some special worker in the hospital or some the social welfare services. But so it's quite difficult to increase the blue workers into Japan because of some lots of the argument or employment problem issue there. So, but so we should just increase such kind of number to stimulate the economy as well as to keep the to certain level of the economic volume. Yeah. So
yes, yes. Can you like to comment?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know about immigration law in Japan, but right now is many Japanese company is hiring many foreigners. As you know, in Japan is our fiscal year started April and end of March, and before the April, many companies are hiring new recruit from university graduate or high school graduate. And however, now is previously this is only for the Japanese, but now they said hiring talented persons. So therefore, now several companies already in even as you know the Sony or other company is now it's a company's communication is English or something like that. So this is now tendency. It's Japanese side is hiring.
Any other comments? Suzuki-san, you run a city. Is your city accepting more immigrant?
First of all, regarding the problem of the population, in Japan overall, when we think about the domestic problem, how we can improve the birth rate, that is the issue that we have to tackle. Then only one municipality cannot solve all the problem. And the next one is that the issue of immigration, inviting people from overseas. And for this, we have some problem of the law. So it's difficult to have a fundamental solution as a one municipality. But each municipalities can have to think about what we can do and work very hard to solve our problem. So in that sense, we have competition among cities. So it's a positive competition. So in Japan, we have to develop the environment where people can raise children easily, and environment where we can invite peoples. And in terms of the raising the children, 3 years ago we have new mayor in Yokohama City, and actually 2 years ago our mayor participated this conference as well. And she is a female mayor, so she is very interested and focused on the raising of children. So the problem of how to set up more childcare center for children. So for this kind of issues, we have a great achievement as well under the mayorship. And as for the companies, in order to invite peoples, companies have to provide good incentives. And other than that, when they come to Japan, we have to provide a very good environment in terms of housing and education and medical cares and culture aspect. So we have to provide a city's environment where even foreigners will feel comfortable to live in. So we are having the discussion on this topic as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Maybe we should shift to another question, which is a bit more broader, but I think is probably most fundamental. The question is, what is the best way to reform Japan political system to ensure more decisive leadership? Because I think a lot of speakers talk about the speed, the importance of speed in the implementation, and also the institutional structure so that they can make good decision, quick decision. So would that be any system like the Japanese Prime Minister position more powerful to lead Japan, such as like the US presidency? I think probably I should start this by asking Professor Takase-san. You talk about this. It's a politics how to make Prime Minister of Japanese more powerful.
Yeah, it is very difficult question. And, however, because of why this is confusion, some kind of political turmoil happening in Japan, because of the election system now is revised. Because previously is we have just like UK, we have our parliamentary system is upper house and a lower house, and then the lower house is some kind of a constituency is fairly large, and but now it's I think about several years ago we completely divided constituency problems. Now it's divided by small, just like the United States. So therefore, each politician is only concerned with the local community only. And each community, each constituency only, they can select only one parliament, one congressman. Therefore, we have several political parties, LDP, DPJ, or Communist Party, or Socialist Democratic Party, all kinds of parties, but only one member of the Congress, it means cannot representing entire Japan. So this is a problem. And also, people talking about upper house. What is the role of upper house? And upper house just like kind of just similar to the lower house. So therefore, no functioning upper house. So maybe someone, maybe radical said, abolish upper house. And devising constituency back to the old systems, or something like that. But this is my only personal comment.
Any others comment anyone has? This is a most fundamental question. Well, I guess it's difficult to respond in just one few sentences. Yeah, please. Yeah.
It is difficult to make a comment in my position, so it's going to be my personal opinion. So now we have talked about the institution and system, and I think it's quite okay, correct. But what I usually think is that who politicians work for and for what. So each politicians have to understand it, and I'm not sure whether they have such understanding. Their main persons looks like they want to win the election and also their personal interest. So, but politicians have to serve the nation and the public. So now, what the citizens want, so they have to understand their needs and make decisions according to their understanding. And after that, they also need to act swiftly, but they have to look at the future 50 years later, 100 years later, and make decisions now, not only about the short-term perspective. That's my request as well.
System might be developed. I do not know whether Singapore has a developed regulation system, but anyway, when I see other countries and compared to Japan, Japan has various regulations and be caught up with these regulations. That's what I feel while I'm working. So this fact, whether the politics will function well or not, well, it is really true, as the media says, that the Japanese politics is confused. But the economic situation is not that bad as the political situation in Japan. It is surviving. But the politics are really bad. But if we try to make inroads in a new area, and when we think about this, the politics, of course, the politician has to take the leadership and lead the way. And then the regulation, which is monetized by bureaucrats, this situation has to be get rid of in the future.
Thank you very much. I think I have to shift it to some more lighter question. Yeah, this is a bit heavy, yeah, for the city. I think there are more straightforward question that how do Japanese city view density? That means that from the Japanese experience, what are the benefit or the problem or pitfall for high density urbanization? Do we really need a high density city? Probably this will be we can ask Mr. An or Mr. Sasaki-san to comment on it.
Whether is it good to have a high density city? Is there any appropriate density? It's a matter of city planning. As I mentioned in my presentation, according to the conventional urban planning theory, when we look at the lower density than the current density of Tokyo is more appropriate. That's what the old school says. But what kind of background, what kind of support we have for this kind of assertion? We have to think of that. For example, the sunshine should shine on the house. Otherwise, people will have some diseases caused by the lack of sunshines, and that will lead to the social problem. Another matter is that from the factories in the town, it may release the noises or the exhaust gas. So they may release some pollutions that hamper the daily lives of the people. So that will hamper the appropriate environment of the city. So the density of the city should think about such factors as well. But most of the problem has been solved in terms of the technology-wise and the social-wise. I'm not sure what will be the appropriate density of the city, but I think that we should aim for the high-density city because, as I mentioned, it will improve the efficiency of the transport, and when the elderlies live in a city, they can provide mutual support, so that the high-density city will enable such things. My house is a bit far away in the main city area, and we have a weekday city in the city centers. But at my age, this house in the city center is very convenient for me. So a higher density than now is actually better. That's my idea. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think it's about time I need to sum it up with the last question. And there's a question related to the energy policy. And this is about, instead of retreating from the nuclear energy due to the Fukushima disaster, should Japan make full use of its technology strength to create a safer nuclear energy solution? Because this is an area that many people need it. And maybe for this question, I can have Mr. Sasaki-san, you want to talk about the energy policy?
This is my own personal idea, but when it comes to nuclear power energy, if you stop immediately, the business of Japan will be stalled, and our Japanese economic strength will be deteriorated. But I think in an early timing, we have to find a new energy that will replace the nuclear energy. And also we have to do the energy saving, the know-how for energy saving, and how to bring in the new energy. This has to be accumulated as a know-how and bring it in the part of of the package of the smart city, and then hopefully that smart city can be exported to the world and can contribute to the world.
Thank you very much. There are still several questions, I think, but I think in terms of time constraint, I think since you know all the panelists here, they will be around. Probably you would like to approach them if there's anything on specific. It's about time for me to sum it up. Let me sum up this whole session. I think, as you know, based from the presentation, we know Japanese community, private sector, public sectors, they know the challenges very well. Not only that, in fact, they have solutions. They have put in place many solutions and respond. Smart city initiative, these are tangible. But they all know these are all partial optimized solutions because they are looking at something more fundamental. So it just now lead to many long-term questions like political leadership, the speed related to the implementation, institutional reform, immigration policy, energy policy. These are very fundamental, but this requires to a certain extent political leadership and all this. So you can see that from a simple city modeling planning objective, actually is linked back to a multifaceted type of issue. And this is exactly, I think, this World City Summit is supposed to do. But we're very happy to see that because we believe that Japan will be able to respond to this in a very tangible manner. It may take time, but every solution they do, what you can see, even for the immigration, they think of everything for the immigrant before they accept the immigrant. So it's a well-planned society to a certain extent. It's advantage and disadvantage to a certain extent. It's always a trade-off. So on this note, I think there's still a lot of questions in everybody's mind, but I think that it's a good session that for us to continue to help to stimulate our monitoring of what Japan is going to do next, and we're going to all collectively learn from them. So thank you for participating in this session. Thank you very much.